Remember this guy? Let's see if we can put this on a box in a subframe and then up in the car. This is turning into an absolute f***ing horror story.
Don't know the vacuum line's called.
Well, see, yeah, so what we've got, I had a cracking assumption here that everything would just fall into place because it came out from the place, right? Most of my evening has been working out where the that went because I was like, well, that looks like it obviously goes over cam covers. No. So that lives there, worked out. We've got most of its lines attached.
Yeah, got that stuff on.
Yeah, like things are on, right? But many lines don't attach in. And I've got a feeling most of them are going to need engine bay things, which is fine. And we've also got videos of everything when it was stripped in, which is fine. But what we need to do is consider how we're going to execute this, because if you remember the scars on my forearms, this was not easy to remove. And I want to make it easier to put in. So I think what we're going to do is, you'll see here, loom bag. We took all of the loom that was for this side of the engine out, and we can actually put it all on with the engine off the car and just tidy it up there, and then when the engine's in the car, just pop that through. So we might do that next, because I think that would make life a lot easier. But the more we put on, the more congested this overcomplicated 90s pile of bastard becomes. But we've made progress. I think we're shortly going to put a gearbox on, which will be good, and then we'll put it in a subframe, which will be gooder. And then I'll realise I've missed one tiny wee component and we'll have to undo all of that, because that's the way my luck goes. Now, astute viewers will note there is no engine in there, but there's a subframe and it's off the ramp. You know how I always have these grand plans, right? And then they never actually come to fruition. This time it's not my fault. So, next door, as you've probably seen on many occasions, they have a ramp. Now, that's the business end of this whole enterprise. So, it's a working ramp. Well, it's not anymore, it's dead. So, I'm amazed it actually took that long to die, considering the start of the Debt Corrector series. But anyway, that's still a business and they need to have a ramp. The yellow ramp, as you can see here, skillfully occupied by a business vehicle, is the backup ramp. So if that ramp does go down, this has to turn coin for all the other stuff that goes on here, which is totally understandable. Therefore, we've had to put a pin in this. But the good thing about putting all of this effort in is there's never truly a pin going in anything. As you can see, we've done a number of things. We have reinstated all of the loom, so no more loom bags. That's the big hairy monster that came out from here, all roughly laid out where it needs to be. Master cylinder painted, heat shield painted, clutch master cylinder and heat shield painted. We are also now painting all of the other little heat shields, such as this one, which is lightly put in for the steering rack, and a whole variety of other nonsense. We've also repainted the scuttle and temporarily put the wipers in, because the little plastic grommet that holds the nodule, or whatever you call it, for the motor has completely disintegrated, which is just typical of old Japanese nonsense. However, thankfully, it's the same as a Mark IV, and this is clearly a common thing. There are repair kits, which I have ordered and is in the post. You'll also note that despite me putting the wing on in some form of attempt to be able to get back onto low cost duty, I haven't been able to put the other wing on or any other stuff. So apologies for everyone waiting for low cost. It's still a bit of a bench. But once that other wing and the shit guard and all that comes out of the way, this is getting finished. And as you can see, there's just a pile of stuff waiting. Believe me, this has not died. I just need to get the engine in that, and then this is going on again. Apologies to everyone that's been waiting. I am just as frustrated as you are. Horrible bumper bar at the front that was cut with a bloody gas torch has now been tidied up and is sitting in primer. That's going to be painted in a moment. But I'm going to leave that off because I quite like the idea of having space at the front for when we actually do put the engine in. Similarly, we have done stuff to the engine too. As you will see, the pink is gone. Now, yes, we were trying to keep lots of JDM heritage in this car, but the pink was atrocious. So that's black. But what I'm going to retain is the orange cam covers because they are pretty good. They will match the goldy orange here. And, you know, that's the heritage. We've also got the inlet manifold on. I'm about to start the loom. Similarly, though, other things have been happening.
Basically, these are getting really difficult to get hold of bits now. These are non-existent, you can't get hold of these anymore. Compressor wheel itself, can't get hold of these anymore. Actual bearing housing, can't get hold of these anymore. What we've basically been able to get, the bearings, the rings, the thrust bearing, and the thrust collar washer and the end cap. So this is what we've done. Obviously this is the old stuff that came out because we've already fitted the new repair kit. Most of my local suppliers don't have these parts anymore. We actually had to go to the internet to get this. We were planning on upgrading it, but we just can't get upgraded parts anymore. Taiwan was the closest place we could get to actually get upgraded bits, but I don't know what the delivery would be in that, and again whether I trust all them parts from, you know, Taiwan. New bearings, and we have new rings, which is seals. Rings are seals. It's just everybody says turbo seals. Turbo seals are actually just rings, like a piston ring goes over the top, and that's what creates the seals. And then replaced the the thrust washer. Now these ones I like to replace because the original ones came with this really tinny metal, so normally replace these with brass copper. The aftermarket ones are always much better than these. I've never been a fan of these, really kind of. I've never been a fan of this material. I don't think it's a good quality material. All the ceramic material on the turbine wheels as well. So this one's been replaced. And then from there it's really just a matter of obviously a full strip down of the turbo, and obviously once it's stripped down we get it cleaned up, we get it in the parts washer, we get it in the bead blaster, and then it kind of goes from there. Take them off and put them in the ultrasonic cleaner because of course we can't afford to have anything inside these, obviously, because that's where all the bearings and the lubricants go. So yeah, so that's us, and then this is the kind of finished product that goes out the door from when it comes in to when it goes out, and you've got practically what looks like a brand new turbo for what is essentially, you know, half or more than half of the money, especially for one of these nowadays.
So whilst we've not went hybrid on these, we have strengthened up the internals quite a bit. Plus the whole turbo has now been given a freshen up, so hopefully there'll be a bit more life in it. So while we're waiting, let's say we once and for all put the engine to bed. The next time I try and skip a step, instead of doing the exact reverse of how I remove something, punch me. The inlet manifold needs to go on with the loom. So you can kind of get a vibe for the tactic we're going for here. Rotated this 180 degrees, strapped it down, and now we're going to fling a gearbox onto the back of it. So you'll notice I've not bothered cleaning the gearbox because you've got to draw a line somewhere, and I want this car finished sometime this century. So nobody will ever see the gearbox, doesn't matter. Now, as you probably guessed, this is the plan. That will go in that, and then this will go away. You will stay,
Yes.
and then all of this will go under there, and then that gets dropped in it. And we look amazing.
I like that. I like that. It just drops down on it.
That just falls down in it.
Just drop on it.
Yeah, just put it in. Just put it in.
Fall in.
Nothing will go wrong because up until now, nothing has went wrong.
No, that's great.
Apart from the fact that I forgot the gearbox had oil in it. Right, we've done numerous laps around this guy, and I think we're all right. Basically, anything that I think is going to be a problem to access when this is in the car, I have dealt with. Key example, this heater hose at the back, I've attached but left all the heater matrix stuff off of, because that's just going to be a bastard to get because of the firewall. So everything, you can see it's all quite nicely tucked, all the things are dealt with. I think we're in good shape, but we all know,
I think we'll get it.
I forgot something, but the only way to properly find that out is to put it in. So,
Let's do that.
that was a busy one. Point is, the engine's in. That for me is quite a significant milestone. Not mainly because it gives me a lot more space. I can now just put this car here and we can get this off the ramp, and it means we can like manoeuvre things without having to worry about bumping an engine. What also needs to happen next is I need to get the engine to start. This is going to be another big milestone, but it's also another essential thing, because whilst it's sat for months built, it's not turned, and that means there's not oil circulating around it, which means it's got potential to seize. So next time we touch on this, getting the engine to fire is going to be our first and foremost priority. In the meantime, thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with us for so long. We're getting close, something tangible is going to happen very soon. If you just found this, like, bell, subscribe, do a share, let other Supra fans know about it, because, you know, it helps the channel. If you want to help a bit more on that, patreon.com/toolsandtrack, go there, have a look, see what's involved. It's also the reason why we don't have ads, so, you know, if that's something you dig, give us a wee chuck for saying thanks. Anyway, that'll do for now. Until next time, guys, drive safe.
Get paint on me because of his heat shield.
Ah, see, that's it. I know.
He's trying to put on a Resto heat shield after doing all that.
Unacceptable.
Yes.
I'll just keep pointing it until you go away. It's fine. So, yeah, let's see if this works.